How's it going, everybody? My name is Bryce, aka DubsNotSubs, and in today's video, I wanted to do something a little bit special. At least for me, it is. And in this video, I wanted to do just a little tribute to manga and what it's meant to me and what it's done to me in my life. Now, I won't lie, this video is not my own. It came from the idea of J Slat's A Tribute to Minecraft. This is something that I just watched maybe 5 minutes ago, and it really put me into a mood of just remembering everything about anime and manga in general, but I'm going to be focusing about manga because especially this genre, or not genre, this type of media has been what has impacted me the most in this kind of a community. And also, I am not scripting this because it felt like it'd be a little bit ingenuine if I scripted this out. Not to say that if someone scripts something like this out, it would be ingenuine, but I just wanted to be my real first thoughts. So I'm sorry if I stutter and mess up a little bit throughout this video, but let's start with a tribute to manga. So manga, for the laymen or the normies of the world who aren't really involved in this community, is a Japanese comic book, and instead of reading it right to left like you would a regular comic book, you read it left to right. And the whole thing that pulled me into manga wasn't me myself. It wasn't seeing manga, and it wasn't seeing anime, like old Pokemon shows, anything like that. That's not what pulled me into it. It was one day in freshman year of high school, my friend brought in a series called Bakigaimon, and I read it and instantly fell in love with it. After that, we read a ton of different series, and I got really into it, and it really just helped me pull into this world that I had never been into. There were so many different and new concepts that I don't think could be even done in an American type of media, especially with all the crazy topics that they cover, because I don't think it'd be allowed in this kind of media. And it's awesome that manga, which is one of my favorite parts about it, is that there's no filter on it. You can have the craziest, most insane concepts, but it also teaches you some of the hardest to learn, hardest to talk about lessons that there are in life that people really don't talk about because it's uncomfortable or it's weird or anything like that. But this manga, or that type of manga, or whatever manga you're thinking about that has that crazy concept that you're thinking of because of me saying that, it's talked about. It's something that that's addressed in manga in some form, in some series, because there's so many and it's so vast and so wide. And I think that's something really beautiful about the media as a whole. So manga is, like I said, something very unique. Every time you open up a new book, it is something completely different, an entirely new world, new concept, new character, new art style, and you just can feel the creator in every single page, the best of manga you can. It is something that you can tell that they put every single hour, second in their life into a series, and there's something so beautiful about somebody dedicating their entire life to a craft that is just them telling something that they always have wanted to talk about, something that has been on their mind, as something that has been on their heart, or just seeing their personal story, or seeing something that they want to tell about society, or just some awesome action adventure that they think is really cool, that is awesome for them to experience and maybe put themselves in as that character and go on the adventure themselves. Because manga for me was something that came into my life, or came back into my life, when I was probably at one of the lowest points, where I felt the most stuck in my life, where I felt like there was no future for me, there was nothing for me to do, like I wasn't really worth anything. That's when I really got back into manga. It was when I started a new job. I just had gotten out of high school, and I just felt like I was in a dead-end job going into eternity with no future and no major impact and nothing really to do that has an impact on society. But I remembered back then, and I remembered that my friend showed me all this stuff, and I remember how much I enjoyed it. So I thought I'd give it an old try. And that's when I came back to my first series that I ever bought. And it wasn't what I thought it was. I thought it was Noragami, but looking back and looking into my old Amazon orders, the first series I ever bought was a series called Eden Zero. And now many of you guys know this because Hiro Mashima is the creator of Fairy Tail. And the reason I decided to go with this instead of any other series is because Eden Zero, as I said, is because of Fairy Tail, and Fairy Tail is the first ever anime I watched. And it really brought me back to this old nostalgia of just me and my friend watching this anime together, or talking about this anime together, and talking about Fairy Tail. And Fairy Tail was something in my life that was extremely impactful, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I don't care what anyone says, whether they think the series is bad, whether they think the series is stupid, and all the characters are stupid. It is, for me, one of my personal favorite animes of all time, regardless of all the problems that series has objectively. It is one of the most personal and fun times I've ever had in an anime, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about anime. You don't need an Inyo Asano to tell me about society and like all the depression and all like this sad stuff. Sometimes you just want to have a good time, sit back and relax and watch people punch and fight and talk about the power of friendship, and you can get that, and you can get both sides. Not to say that Inyo Asano is bad. I'm not saying that at all. He's one of the best creators of all time. But you get my point, where I'm saying not everything needs to be, we live in a society. Sometimes it's just, I want to relax, sit back, and have a good time with my friends watching two characters go at it with way too overpowered of things that don't make any sense. But in the world of anime, it's fun and realistic. After that, I decided to check out some other series, and that's when I came into Grand Blue Dreaming. And then after that, I picked up a series called Arakawa Under the Bridge. Now, last up, the one I got is my favorite manga of all time, and that is Noragami. And I think the reason these are all in my top 3, all these 3 series, these are my top 3 manga of all time. And I think the reason that might be, and My Hero Academia is up there too, but that was also not a series I got into the manga. I got to the anime before I got into even reading the manga. But anyway, these series were all something that related to me on a personal level. Like something like Noragami was something where I always wanted a YouTube channel, and I've always wanted to be, I guess, I'm not gonna lie, I've always wanted to have it blow up and have that be successful, and have all the fame, money, and whatever comes with it, because creating videos and stuff like this is my favorite thing to do. I'm not gonna lie, it is the most therapeutic, the most enjoyable thing, and the most consistent thing in my life, where I've always wanted to be like, this is what I want to do with my life, and if I ever got the chance to do it, I would take it. But the beautiful thing about Noragami, it tells you a story of Yato, who wants to be a god, who is the most famous, most powerful, and the richest god of all time. And spoilers for Noragami if you guys want to not have spoilers for that, so skip ahead a little bit, and I'll put like a stamp hopefully up on the screen. But Noragami tells the story, like I said, of Yato, and as he goes on this journey, he meets Hiyori and Yukin, Kafuku, and Bishamonen, and all these other characters in his life, and he begins to realize that fame, fortune, and money don't really mean anything in life. It's not what is the best part and what the most impactful part of a life is. It's not about all that kind of material goods. It's about the connections you can make with people and the good times, and just knowing that there are people that can look out for you and that trust you and love you as much as you trust and love them. And it's something that I really enjoyed, and it's something I really needed to look at, because sometimes you can just get caught up in the moment of wanting something so bad that you forget about what's truly important in life, which is the people who are there for you, the people who you hang out with, the people you have the most fun with. And I think that Yato was me, I think, in a little bit of a desire, because money came into my life. It wasn't like a lot of money. It wasn't like starting to make like millionaire Elon Musk money, but you know, out of high school, having no money, doing a job for $8.25, and then all of a sudden making like almost $20 an hour at a factory job, I had a lot of money, and it was really nice to be able to spend on whatever I could. It's part of the reason why I have such a big manga collection right off the bat, was because I had that, and I didn't really have any bills or anything like that to pay for. But reading this manga really reminded me of what was really important in life, and that is the people that I'm with, the friends I make, the family I'm with, and all these people who have helped me out in life. And I really enjoyed that. And Arakawa Under the Bridge was special to me because I was very nervous about coming out as a weeb. You know, I think a lot of people also have, in this community, have that same anxiety of maybe telling other people who aren't inside the community, or who aren't like actual anime fans themselves like that, or anime and manga fans themselves, about them actually liking it. Because when you come out, there are so many stereotypes about anime and manga that just aren't true, and that everyone puts you in that box once it comes in, and there's that fear that if I do this, oh, I'm gonna be labeled as a lolicon, a pedophile, or some like just freak who loves like 2D girls, and you know, you can't get laid, or there's like all these other crazy concepts that just aren't true. And Arakawa is a story about a guy named Recruit. He has a real name, but obviously, if you've read the story, you know that once he gets involved within the crazy people under the bridge, he ends up having his name changed to Recruit. And again, spoilers for this series if you guys want to skip ahead, another time stamp for that. And that Recruit is somebody who doesn't want to owe anybody anything, and he feels like, and he's very stuck in his ways, and he wants to make everybody happy, especially his father. He wants to live up to his father's expectations, and he just wants to be what everybody else wants him to be. But when he goes under the bridge, he meets all these crazy characters, people like Nino, like Hoshi, like Sister Mary, and all these other crazy characters that are involved under the bridge. And the thing that is awesome about them is that they are so out there, wild, and just insane things. Like Nino thinks she's from Venus. She thinks she's a Venusian, which there's a lot more that gets into that. And you have Hoshi, who has a star around his head and talks about how he is an actual star. You have the mayor, who thinks he's an actual Kappa, or tells everybody he's an actual Kappa. But anyway, all these characters, despite them being as crazy as they are, no matter what Recruit says or what anybody else says, they decide to stay themselves. They are open with themselves. They are who they truly want to be, and they feel so free being able to do this. And you see this with another character later on, who is a celebrity who wants to be a nudist all the time, and he sees all the characters under the bridge, and he sees how they're just doing their own thing, and they're being themselves and not hiding who they truly are to other people. They're open. People think they're weird. People think they're crazy, but they don't care. That's who they are, and if you don't like them, like Post Malone says, fuck off. I got my own people. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about that story, was because for me, I was always so scared to tell people, whether I was into anime, whether I was into manga, or just any other thing that might be slightly nerdy or weird, like, you know, into like some like random RPG video game, or just something where I'm afraid to get made fun of, like I was. And reading the story really helped me realize that I didn't need to care about what anybody else thought, because if they were truly my friend and they truly liked me, they wouldn't care. They would accept me for who I am, all my faults and all my downfalls, all the crazy quirkiness, the fact that I like anime and manga, which is not that crazy of a concept. And it was something that when I first got into it, I was very scared to tell other people about, because obviously you know all the horror stories of people in high school getting bullied and all that kind of things, and it may even happen to you. And if it did, I'm so sorry that happened to you. That was completely wrong, and I feel for you, because it is such a horrible thing for someone to have to deal with just because they like something, and it's so messed up that anybody would have to go through that, and people would think that that's such a bad thing that somebody liked anime and manga, or they liked this person, or, you know, whatever you had to go through. It's just such a horrible thing that anybody would have to experience scrutiny for something like that, and unless it's pedophilia, then I get that. And the last series is something that's called Grand Blue Dreaming. Now, this story follows Iori, who had just graduated from high school and decided to go to his uncle's scuba shop in a seaside town to go experience the world and experience a whole new life for college. And the reason I love this story so much is because I'm fresh out of high school. I was fresh out of high school, especially a lot more when I started to get this. I was like maybe a year out of high school. Now I'm 3 years, I believe. Man, I'm getting old. But this story is so awesome, not only because of all the funny moments, but all the lessons that it teaches throughout this. And Iori discovering himself, learning about the things of life, learning about helping other people, learning about all the things that are crazy in life. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about Grand Blue Dreaming, because it's about a fresh out of high school kid experiencing a whole new world and experience a whole new thing, like scuba diving. He's terrified of it. He doesn't even know how to swim, so he has a fear of the water and drowning and all this. But he decides to face his fears and jump in anyway, and he sees a whole new world. He sees an entirely new beautiful thing that he would have never experienced if he let that fear stay inside of him and take over him. Because in life, you can either overcome your fear, or your fear can overcome you. And that's something that I think Grand Blue Dreaming really taught me a lot about, especially with that one scene of him overcoming his scuba diving thing. And it really makes me want to face my fears, like roller coasters. I am absolutely terrified of heights. I have tried them before and they terrify me. But part of me really wants to try to conquer that fear. You know, go on a roller coaster that I previously have never wanted to. And even if I hated it, even if I go on that and I realize I don't like it, I don't have to live with that thought of what if I really would have enjoyed it. But I let that fear overcome me and hold me back on something that I could really love, even though I don't know, because I have never experienced that kind of a thrill, terror, and all that before. And Grand Blue Dreaming has really showed me that it's okay to face your fears. And if you fall, you got people behind you, you have people around you who will pick you back up and, you know, comfort you, do what they need to do to help you get through that. And if you don't enjoy something, at least you try it, which is something that I thought a lot when I got into YouTube, which is something that I'm going to get into next, which is the friends in my YouTube community that I have met. And so when I was talking about getting back into anime and manga, like way back then, I didn't have any friends to talk about. And I know I said that I had a friend who showed me it, but he kind of moved on and he doesn't really care about anime and manga anymore. So I didn't have anybody to talk about any of the favorite series I had. So like how any natural millennial would do, I went to Twitter and YouTube and I started to find new amazing communities and people on there. So I watched from the start people like Highland Manga, I watched Zach from Uchuself, I watched Flip Otaku. I'm sorry I said your name wrong, Flip. I love you, Doughboy. Alonzi were the 4 people that I mainly watched, and Insidious Swede and Base Senpai. Those all were the people that I pretty much watched. And I started to get into the community, and I remember some of the first followers I had. It was people like, I'm actually not going to say their names because I don't know if they want me to, you know, call them out, or they're okay with me telling them on a public platform, calling their names out like that. So I'm not going to do it, but I do remember all the first ever followers I have and the first ever interactions I had with people on Twitter and YouTube. I remember going in the comments and doing that and commenting on videos and talking to people on Twitter, and it was really awesome to be able to finally talk to other people about this passion that I had just newly discovered. And then a video came along where I had already wanted to make YouTube videos, and I was just kind of like procrastinating and not doing it. But then I've stated this before. I don't know if I've stated it publicly, like on an actual video, but the thing that actually pushed me over the edge and made me want to do it was a video from Alex Alonzi. You guys all know him. It was a video about him talking about creating a channel about manga and making YouTube videos about it. And I remember commenting on it. I don't remember what I exactly said, but I did comment on the video, and I decided with that video that I was actually going to do it. I was going to stop procrastinating, and that I was going to just start making videos, because it's something in my life that is a new concept to me, but it is something that I have started to try to enact more, and is kind of detrimental, but at the same time has allowed me to experience a lot of new things in my life that I wouldn't have done before. And it's don't think, do. Stop thinking about all what could go wrong. Stop thinking about all the bad things. Just do it and see what happens, because it's a psychological thing. And it's something like when you get on a water ride and you just sit there, and the longer you wait in that line and the more people you see go down that ride, the more nervous you will get. Like, psychologically, the more people you do it, the more fear that will build up in your mind, and like, you know, that will send signals that you'll get more scared. But if you're the first one to go up there, you're terrified, but you'd be less terrified than if you waited and watched other people to do it. So that's why I think that you should stop fearing what could go wrong. If you want to start a manga tube channel, just do it. Stop thinking about it. Make sure you have the proper equipment. But I would say the most important things is obviously a decent camera. 720p is still acceptable on YouTube. Most people watch things on their phone, to be honest. And with your smaller screen, the pixels are a lot more condensed, so 720 doesn't look that bad. And I would say 720 at the minimum you need to have for a resolution. And for audio, make sure you get something like a Snowball. I would say a Snowball is the best starter mic you can get. $50, and you need good audio. I will tell you that is the most important thing on YouTube, is the audio. You can have a little bit of a subpar, kind of like I said, 720p is acceptable, but if you have bad audio, people will not watch your videos. It is the most important thing to do, because it's so annoying to try to listen to a video. Think if you had someone with like a crackly mic, you try to watch a video with a crackly mic, or there's a lot of grain, or it pitches a lot, and there's a lot of peaks, and like it's all over the place, and it just sounds really bad, or it's like really distant. You're not going to want to watch that video, because it's so hard to enjoy something like that. So you need a decent mic, and I would definitely say get a Snowball if you want to do that. But anyway, being able to get on the community and be able to talk to people about anime and manga has been such a nice way for me to be able to be myself and get a lot more comfortable in my skin about liking this. And like, I no longer care if anybody knows about if I like anime and manga. Like, I don't care. I really don't. And like I said before, I did, but I really don't. But what really helped me was seeing other people in the community who were so open about it and didn't care what anybody else thinks, and were just themselves, and they didn't hide it, and they just were them. And it really helped me go, you know what? They're fine. Why do I have to worry about it? I shouldn't have to worry about it either. And then I really just got over it, and it really helped me move on and get more comfortable in my skin for that. And I'll tell everybody, I'll talk about anime and manga with anybody, I'll bring it up, and I don't really even care if nobody gets it or they think I'm weird. I will do it anyway, and it's a lot more fun and freeing to be able to overcome that fear of, man, what if somebody hates me, and just be like, I'm gonna say it, and if, you know, if they don't like it, they don't like it, and people will move on, and I don't really care. Manga as a whole is something that is so freeing and so opening and just so relaxing, thrill-seeking, nerve-wracking. It's just every book you can open, you can get any emotion you want. You can get something from happiness to sadness to horror to anger. Just so many different worlds and emotions that you can experience. That's something like music, I would say, where you can get any kind of feeling or experience that you want. And it's something that I love so much about the manga community, and that manga itself is that the mangakas can create whatever they want. Like I said earlier, they can create any world they want to be in. They create any world that we want us to be in. They can tell any story they want told, any edgy, risque thing that is something that in American media or some other type of industry would not be allowed because it's deemed as too edgy or not or too NSFW. And it's just something that I love about this community and I love about this world, is that you can experience anything you want, and you can go to any worlds you want, and it can really help you forget about your sadness, deal with your sadness, overcome your hardships, or help you forget your hardships. And it can do anything to heal a person. At least for me personally, it has done so much in my life to be able to help me move on, become stronger, learn new lessons. And there are so many more that I can learn from anime and manga, and so many more things that I can experience in this world and through manga, and just a whole new envelope that I've never even opened. But anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel that this video is good and that you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making this type of video. It's a very different type of video for me, so I hope that you guys enjoyed it and you like this kind of stuff. Maybe I can do some more. And anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. DubsNotSubs.